So I'm just going to cover some of the finishing touches on this project. So last time I did a video, I was just showing you guys how to do some shading on this to make it look like a sphere. Your shadow, highlights, hot spot, that kind of thing. So what we're going to go over today is how we're going to lay out the design and how it's different than the ones that we were doing here. One of the things I'm going to mention is that if these came out really good, you could take some scissors and cut them out and glue them on your final composition if you want. But I would imagine that most of you guys are just going to make a fresh one. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a fresh piece of paper. You can use the back of one, piece of paper or the other side of it. So if this is like my good copy, I can certainly use this side that's undone. I can cut these out, but you want a 9 by 12 area, okay? And I've been holding it upright like this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna trace out a few, more like 3 or 4 different ornaments. And when you do lay these out, you wanna lay them out in a nice composition, evenly distributed. So you don't want the 3 ornaments to be up on top or on the bottom. You want to kind of have them nicely spread out on the paper, and you don't want there to be too much of a cluster on one side. You can they don't have to be circles, they could be different shapes than what you used before. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw this out, and I will be right back. So I went with 4 different shapes. I went with 2 smaller circles, a large circle, and I created a teardrop kind of shape. So it's at this point that I could certainly just work on these just like how I did before. One thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the hot spots are in the same placement. If you decide to put them on the top left or the top right or the bottom left, bottom right, that they're all in the same place for each of these. So I've been doing top right, I'll keep it going. Top right, top right, top right, top right. Colors that you use could be same colors that you've been using, or if you wanted to do something different, so you can go over these. So the one thing that we're going to be adding are the branches. Now, if you notice on my sample here, that the branches are coming from the same place, same side. If you decide to have the branches come from the other side, completely your call. You can have them coming from different angles, but I figured with if you're dealing with a tree, you have the main part of the tree, let's just say it's off the page, off to the left, and they'd be coming all in from the left. It just kind of made sense to me. And I do have some kind of coming down and coming across and floating down, so you can kind of change the direction. Also change the lengths of them. I have a piece coming here and it stopped. I have a piece coming down here, and then this is a pretty long piece and it overlaps another one, and then one coming across the top. So your layout of your branches is really pretty much up to you. So on here, you could very lightly draw the lines for your branches. Now, the one thing also that I want to mention is that none of these branches are going in front of my ornaments, and I just made that as a conscious choice. If you decide to have some branches going in front of your ornaments, you have to plan that out early, because you want to do your, you would want to make your branches first. Draw what's in front first, because if I decided to put branches in front, I may end up smudging all of that work there. So I do have to be wary of it. Now, you can certainly try it out on your own on a separate one. If you wanted to try to see if you can make the branches in front without it looking too weird, you can certainly do that. So what I would suggest to do is to draw out all your ornaments, just like this. And like I said, if you wish to cut some out and glue them on, that's your prerogative. I would have no trouble with that. The only thing is I didn't provide glue for you, so you'd have to get the glue on your own. So I'm going to do this demonstration showing you the branches with with these not drawn, just because I want to save time. So I'm going to be using my lighter orange. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some branches. I am taking to account the idea that these ornaments are going to be hanging. So if you notice, when I decided to draw these branches, I'm taking into account that I need branches slightly higher than my ornaments so I can use them to hang them. Now, it's not to say that I don't put in any more lines in there. So you just put a couple in. And again, I decided to have them come from, they're coming from the left, going that way. And I have branches for my ornaments to hang on. So I just went with the light brown. You can certainly go back over with the dark brown, and you can make these branches a little heavier and darker with the lighter one and the darker one, making them look more solid. Layering color with oil pastels makes things look like they are more solid. And then you're going to take your two greens and you're going to go with your pine needles. Now, the way the pine needles work, they point away from the trunk of the tree. So if the trunk of the tree is here, they're going to point away from the base main part of the tree. So I'm just going to go with the light color first. And some could be kind of crooked and kind of a little gnarly if you want. But they all come off of that main branch. I'm now going to grab my darker green. You can see when you put the darker green and the lighter green, when you start putting them on top of each other, it really starts to give a nice illusion of solidness and depth. So you're just going to keep that up. So then when you're done, and again, I chose to not do my ornaments for this one yet. I can certainly put them in later, but this is just for demonstration purposes. This video, I focused on the branches. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out what kind of hook or how do you want it attached. Now for this one, I just used this mustard color oil pastel, and I drew a little loop with a little bow. You can certainly do that. In my other sample, I made these little kind of crowns up on top, and then I had a hook coming off of that. The one thing that when you do these hooks or whatever, you want to make it look like the branch is in front and behind it. Okay, so I have it coming in front of the branch, but then if you noticed, I had it look like the branch is in front of the hook. Okay, so to do that, you pick whatever kind of system that you want. For this one, I'll do a little cap on it. And you can look at some, if you have ornaments on a tree at home, you can certainly look at those. Some of them, they have like these little crowns like this. And so you want this hook to kind of go on that branch. But then to make it look more real, what I do is I just go with a little line of that brown oil pastel and just make it look as though it comes in front of that hook a bit. So you create the illusion of the hook coming in front and then going behind. All right. So that's it. So you fill this up with branches in the negative space as much as you want. And as I said, if you decide to put some branches in front, you can experiment with that. You can also do different shapes if you'd like. All right. So have fun with this project. Get it started, and you'll have a couple days on this.